Okay. Sure it's recording. Usually it tells you if I'm recording, but so number one is asking us to figure out what 2 times n minus n is. So you guys subtract these two polynomials first, or you can just do the 2, but if you subtract these first, you should get negative 2x squared plus 9x plus 8. So what's happening is that you're doing m minus n, right? 3x squared minus 5x squared is negative 2x squared, 9x, so then subtract with 9x, so it's 9x. Negative 4 minus negative 12 is positive 8. Then you multiply this by 2, so it should get you negative 4x squared plus 18x plus 16. So we should get C for that one. So hopefully that doesn't seem too bad. That seems pretty straightforward. Number 2 is going to be a little more challenging though. For number 2, you have h of x minus 4 equaling this expression. So you want to know what h of x must equal. So what you could do is replace x with x minus 4 into each choice. And then see which one gets you that. Now that could be a bit labor intensive because you're going to have to replace this x here with x minus 4, meaning you have to square it, then distribute the 6. And then do minus 2 times x minus 4, and then plus 114. I mean, you could do it that way. It's kind of up to you if you want to approach it that way. I mean, just to kind of show you how labor intensive this could be, you would have this. And then you have to FOIL. And it's at negative 2. And combine like terms, you should have 6x squared, negative 50x, yikes, plus 96, it's 210, 218. Oh my goodness, that is not what we want, right? Definitely not what we want. So I suspect B is probably going to work with a negative 46 there. I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect that's probably going to maybe be the one that we want. Yeah, so what you could do, another way you could approach this problem is you could let x equal a number. Let's say x is 5. Then you have this. So, but x is 5, right? So you have to do 5 in for x. If you work that out, you have 6 times 25 plus 10 plus 10, where you get 170. Because 6 times 25 is 150 plus 10 plus 10. But really, that's h of 1. So now if I put a 1 in each choice, I want 170 coming out as my answer, and that's going to be D. Because you get 6 plus 50 plus 114, 56 plus 114, you do get 170. If you were to replace x with x minus 4 and work it out, you have plus 50x minus 200 plus 114, and you have 6x squared minus 8x plus 16. I'm pretty sure this is going to work out for us because you have 50x minus 86. You have 6x squared minus 48x plus 96 plus 50x minus 86. Yeah, that works out. So you could do it that way also, but you can see how this is more labor intensive. You can plug in a number, but you have to be careful that, okay, I replace x with 5. So I plug 5 into that, but then that gave me h of 1 equals 170. So I plug in 1 into the choices, see which one gives me 170. So it's a more advanced problem. That would be like more near the end. Okay, now we get back to an easier one. For the rest of them, like number 2, then this is going to take a while. So you want your domain to be x greater than or equal to 2. And that's why I'm going to go with B. Because this cannot be negative. It could be 0. And it's the one that would have a restriction except for C, X had to be bigger or equal to 0, but the other ones wouldn't have, A and D would not have restrictions because, you know, they're just squaring or absolute value. Usually you're gonna see restrictions when you have like X in the bottom of a fraction, or if you have a radical, like an even radical, you have restrictions there. 4. That's gonna be square root of 16, then cubed. 4 cubed is 64. And that's that. There we go. To get D. So that's just knowing your how to convert from radical or fraction, rational exponents to radical notation. 5. They want G of 2. Well, 2 fits right there. So you plug in 2 into the second expression. 4/3 plus 1, you get 7/3. That's all. Easy, easy peasy. Number 6 was a possible solution for the rational equation. So the LCD here is x times x minus 1. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply x times x minus 1 to all the fractions. If you do that correctly, x over x minus 1 times that will be x squared. The other one will be negative 2x minus 1. The other one will be x squared minus 2x plus 2 equals x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Factor it, x minus 1, x minus 2, you get x equals 1 or 2. But 1 won't work because that would make the bottom undefined. So you just go to 2 because you can't divide by 0. Questions about number 6? Okay, we'll keep moving. Number 7, you're doing a square root of all that because that's 1/2 as an exponent represents. So definitely you're gonna have a 6. That's out. And then so you're square rooting all this, right? So 6x squared, and it's y cubed, and then root y. So you have to have an x squared and a y cubed. That's why it's C. So you can see how this covers more advanced algebra stuff you guys done in algebra 2. So I know that I've taught algebra 2 many years, so I know this is stuff that is covered. So that's number 7. Number 8. Range means y. So you got to replace y with negative 5/3. And then you have to solve for x. Actually, I'll multiply both sides by 12. So then you get negative 20 equals 3x minus 24. 3x equals 4. X is 4/3. So you get B for that one. Then just a couple more before I have you guys try a set on your own. You want to isolate m, obviously. So I'll divide both sides by 2 pi. I'll square both sides. Then I'll multiply both sides by k. And those will cancel. So you get kt squared and 4 pi squared on the bottom. Would be B. And that's, and you know, I didn't really have to read the question, just look at the choices, right? And they wanted to find the mass, and m represents mass because they said so. Somewhere there, yeah. So they'll get lost in the words. Just, you know, look at the choice and see what they want. Should be pretty straightforward. And last one. You want another way to represent this formula. So it looks like they combined these two fractions. The LCD is R1, R2. So I'm going to multiply this by R2, R2, multiply this by R1, R1. So R2 plus R1 over R1, R2 but then you have 1 over all that junk. Hold on. You have 1 over all that junk. So that's going to be R1, R2 over R2 plus R1. And that's why you get A. So whenever you have a fraction on the bottom of a bigger fraction, you flip that bottom fraction over. It's like saying 1 divided by R2 plus R1 over R1, R2. And 1 by itself is, you think it's 1 over 1. So you're dividing 2 fractions. We always flip the second fraction, right? And that's what you get. Okay, so what I'm gonna have you do now is I'm gonna have you do day 3 stuff. The second set of day 3. So you can see number 1 is pretty similar to what we've done already with converting a fraction exponent to radical notation. 2 looks like it's dealing with a domain. 3 looks like you're just combining 2 radicals. 4 looks like you're doing some sort of synthetic division or long division. In case you forgot synthetic division, you would do this. You put -2 on the outside because you divide by x plus 2. You bring the 6 down. Then you multiply these 2. -12, add these 2. And you rinse and repeat. And if you don't want a remainder, you want this to be 0. So I'll give you a chance to copy that down because that's what we'll need to do for that one. Okay. 5 looks like a piecewise functions again. 6, solving an equation. That's going to be a square root of 3x. Looks like you're doing a transformation for number 7. Number 8, trying to find the equivalent expression, so factoring. 9 looks like interpreting a graph. And 10, you're combining stuff. So go ahead and try these 10 problems. We'll do this for about 15 minutes. Ask questions. I'm going to pause the recording and just stand by and give you guys a chance to work on it. If you're stuck, please let me know. And then we'll just kind of check and see how you guys did. Actually, I'll say in 10 minutes. So work on the ones you're able to do. But if you're stuck, make a note of it, and then we'll work through them together. And then we'll look at the reading comprehension after we finish talking about math, because there was a reading comprehension homework, and then we'll do some grammar practice. So I'll go ahead and stop the recording or pause it. Going. Okay. So yeah, so talk to me. Do you guys have an answer for number 1?
I got A for 1.
I agree. Very good. It's A to the 1/3 power. Perfect. Excellent. Good. How about 2? Do you guys have an answer for 2?
Oh no, I skipped that one.
Okay, so this is where you just have to use a little logic. She's studying the effects of nutritional supplements on athletes. She uses P of A to represent the results of her study, where A represents a number of athletes. Okay, A is a number of athletes, and P is the number of athletes who experience increased performance. Fine, but A, the input, represents the number of athletes. Which of the following could be the domain? Domain's the input, right? Like X, but they're using A instead of X. So it's got to be a number of athletes. Now look at the choices. Can a number of athletes be negative? Yes or no?
No.
Can you have half an athlete? Can you have half a person?
No.
It'd be
Oh,
kinda
so
weird.
then it'd be D.
Yeah, right. You like maybe have their arms and not their legs or something. Yeah, this has got to be D. Exactly. So just use logic. That's all you got to do. What about 3? You guys, how did 3 go?
I got D.
Yeah, it'll be roots 0.5, which would be root 1/2. And if you were to square root both top and bottom, you'd have that. And then you have to rationalize. Yeah, it is D. I'd agree. Because then you have to multiply top and bottom by root 2 afterwards, and you get root 2 over 2. Or you could write 0.25 as 1/4. So it's root 1/4 times root 2, which is then 1/2 times root 2, which is root 2 root 2. So that would work also. So either pathway would have been fine. Questions about that one? Nope. Okay, let's keep moving. Now this one, let me walk you guys through it because I don't know how well this might have been covered in pre-calculus or algebra or algebra 2. But this is called synthetic division, where you're dividing two polynomials. And you put the coefficients of the numerator inside this little box here. And you start with the highest term or the highest degree, and you go down in order. And if there's any term that's skipped over, like there's no x cubed term, you got to put 0 in place of it. So you got that. So you bring the 6 down. You multiply 2 and 6, you get 12. And then you add 0 plus 12, that's 12. 2 times 12 is 24. 2 plus 24 is 26. 2 times 26 is 52. Negative 8 plus 52 is 44. 2 times 44 is 88. You need a 0 there. Therefore, that C has to be, whoa, hold on. Something did not work out correctly. Oh my goodness. I got to blow this whole thing up. You got to put -2 out there because it's x plus 2. So you're assuming -2 is a x-intercept of the numerator. My apologies. No wonder it didn't work. Okay, so let's try this again. Bring the 6 down, multiply, that's -12. Add, you get -12, 24, 26, -52, -60, then you get 120. And then you need a 0 if you want no remainder. So C has to be 120 to make that happen. That's why it's D. So that's something that probably covered near the end of an ST Math section because it is kind of a more advanced topic. That's how the College Board kind of sees a problem like that one. So yeah, that's what's going on there. Okay. Let's keep moving. For 5, you have to pick the right piecewise function. So definitely have a negative slope. In fact, actually, it looks like we go down 3, right 2. So it's going to be A, B, or C, not D, because D is -2/3. And X is less than 0. All of them have that. So there's not much more I could do to eliminate. Then if I look at the radical part, 0 is included. So I'm going to get rid of C. I want 0 to be included. And it's going to be shifted down 1. That's why it's A. Plus, if I plug in 0 for X, I would get -1. You can't plug in, actually, you can't plug in 0 for X in that one because that would be imaginary. Then you have root -1. So that's A for that one. Do you guys get answers for 6 or 7?
No.
I got 15, or not 15. I think I got 12 for 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. That would be 36 minus root 3x equals 30. Multiply everything by 2, just so you know. Okay, and then I have 6 equals root 3x. 36, I would agree. Yep, you got it. Good work. Outstanding. Yep, that's 12. How about 7? Do you guys have an answer for 7?
I didn't.
Okay, so when you see this right here, no worries. When you see this right here, this means you have to shift 3 right and shift 4 up. That's what it means. You got to shift 3 right and shift 4 up. So they say that P is a point of the graph that has an x coordinate of 1. So if I plug 1 into that equation, you should have 2 minus 5 plus 4 plus 6. You should have 7. You should have 7. Now, if you shift 3 right, that's going to be 4. And you shift 4 up, that's going to be 11. So the y coordinates that correspond to that will be 11. So that's 7. Number 8. How far do you guys get? Do you guys get anything past number 7?
No.
Okay, we'll go over the rest. No worries, and then we'll do some Actually, we'll do grammar practice. We'll talk about the reading maybe later, because I do want to get into some grammar stuff. So here you can factor out -3 halves and x8, because then this becomes then 3 x squared minus x, no, plus x, and minus 5. Yeah. Yeah. And if you look at here, if you were to distribute, you would get back to all this right here. So A would make a lot of sense. You can also just distribute all the choices from the beginning and see what matches. That works too. That's it. 9. Sorry, 2 up here. Each delivery took 30 minutes to complete. So made 2 deliveries. Okay. Okay, so this will be the first stop, and they probably had to unload. Then this will be the second delivery right here. And they had to unload again. And then they go the way they head back. So yeah, that is 30 minutes. That is 30 minutes. So I kind of like that one. The location looks like there was about 70 miles from the warehouse. No, it wasn't 70 miles. Because they get over here. It's 70 minutes away, but not 70 miles. The truck traveled 18 miles from the time it left the warehouse until it returned. No, it actually drove 36 miles because it has to do the round trip, right? It went 18 here, then 18 back. So that's actually not true. The second delivery is about 18 miles farther from the west. No, the first delivery is 8 miles away. The second one's 18. So the second one's 10 miles further than the first one. Than the first stop, not 18. The difference not 18 between second and first. So I would definitely go A. It's a little weird because they had to kind of tell you that they do pause to unload. Kind of strange. So the last one, then we'll do some reading practice. So I think that's I thought that was a plus symbol, but yeah, it looks like it's a division symbol. It's a little confusing. So he's got to flip that over. That right now it's x over 2, so it becomes 2 over x. And then you got to distribute. That's 5x4 minus x3 over 4 plus 3x. So you have 10 x cubed minus x squared over 2 plus 6. So there's a plus 6 at the end. Yeah, I like C a lot. C looks good to me. Okay. So that covers, that's a good math review. So let's now talk about grammar. I think what I'll do, try and find some practice sections here. Maybe pull up a practice test. That might be a good idea. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of walk you guys through a practice passage, and then have you guys try one, and then tell me your answers, and we'll see how that goes. And then after that, maybe we could talk a little about the reading packet and maybe do a passage together. So this is what I've done a long time ago. I still kind of remember it. It's about Greek yogurt. So let's get started. And you're gonna see a variety of questions. You'll see some questions on punctuation, some on fundamental grammar, some on context. So a few things you could see here. So we'll start reading. Greek yogurt, a strained form of cultured yogurt, has grown enormously popular in the United States since it was first introduced in the country in the late 1980s. In 2011-2012 alone, sales of Greek yogurt in the US increased by 50%. The resulting increase in Greek yogurt production has forced those involved in the business to address the detrimental effects that the yogurt making process may be having on the environment. Fortunately, farmers and others in the Greek yogurt business have found many methods of controlling and eliminating most environmental threats. Given these solutions, as well as many health benefits of the food, the advantage of Greek yogurt outdo. So I wouldn't say outdo the potential drawbacks. That sounds a little unsophisticated. Defeat the drawbacks. That sounds weird also. Outperform. I would say they outweigh. So the pros outweigh the cons, kind of like that. So I think outweigh would make sense. The main environmental problem caused by the production of Greek yogurt is the creation of acid whey as a byproduct. Because it requires up to 4 times more milk to make than conventional yogurt does, Greek yogurt produces large amounts of acid whey, which is difficult to dispose of. To address the problem of disposal, farmers have found a number of uses for acid whey. They can add to livestock as a protein supplement, and people can make their own Greek-style yogurt at home by straining regular yogurt. Okay, so they want you to pick a choice that has the most relevant detail, meaning that relevant to what's being mentioned in the passage, right? To address the problem of disposal. So you could say farmers have found a number of uses. So one way is they could add to livestock as a protein. So instead of throwing it away, they could use it for their livestock. But then say people can make their own Greek style yogurt at home. That doesn't talk about how they dispose of the acid whey. So I don't like the original. That's not really relevant. Now B is interesting as a protein supplement and convert it into gas to use as a fuel and electricity production. Hey, that's a way of making use of their waste, right? While sweet whey is more desirable as a food additive, that doesn't talk about how they dispose of it, which provides an important element. No. So you want something that can talk about the number of uses of how they can address the problem of disposal. And that's why it's B. So you got to pay attention to the context. You got to look at what's happening elsewhere in the paragraph for those kind of problems. For 3, if it's improperly introduced to the environment, acid whey runoff can pollute waterways, depleting the oxygen content of streams and rivers as it decomposes. Okay, so it looks like they're looking at punctuation. I don't want an apostrophe because it's not possessive. So I'm not going to go with B or D. There's nothing possessive about the waterways. And could have polluted sounds a little awkward. I would stick with the original. I'll go A. This is all punctuation again. Yogurt manufacturers, food scientists, and government officials are also working together. So I would go with a comma, not a semicolon. A semicolon is like a period. Anything you say before and after a semicolon must be a complete sentence or a complete thought. That is not the case here. A colon wouldn't make sense either because then you're elaborating on what was said afterwards, but you're just listing things. So I'll go with a comma. And I wouldn't do an extra comma after the word and. You're just fine with the comma right here. Oops, sorry. You're fine with just that one comma right there, and I'll go C. C and count. Then 5. Now you want to move sentences around. They like doing this on, when I say they, I mean the College Board. The College Board likes doing this on the SAT. To make this paragraph most logical, sentence 5 should be placed where? It was improperly introduced, okay, because they talk about difficult to dispose of. So I probably would put it right there after sentence 2 or before sentence 3. And then they talk about addressing the problem. And then they talk about the way they can address it. And how they're working together afterwards. So I think 5 is out of place. It should come before sentence 3 or after sentence 2. And that's why I go with C. Another context one, usually when you see lengthy questions, usually context. Though these conservation methods can be costly and time-consuming, they are well worth the effort. Nutritionists consider Greek yogurt to be a healthy food. It's an excellent source, blah, blah, blah. I kind of like that because they talk about all the benefits. And they do talk about prior, like the conservation methods can be a little tiresome. So I wouldn't delete it. Yeah, I like D because it does set up the argument for the benefits. C, doesn't talk about how they're disposed of. So I'd say just talk about the benefits, right? How it's a healthy food, it's lower in sugar, more protein, right? But I'll look at the yes choices to see, maybe should we remove it? I don't know. No, it does provide transition. It does support the main arguments that Greek yogurt's awesome. So yeah, I'll go D. Here's a preposition: is an excellent source of calcium and protein, serves to be, I say serves as. And I would say it, because you have it right here. It is an excellent source of protein. So is an excellent source, serves to be, and contains. I would not put it. So I would go C on that one. And will contain, that you lose the parallel structure there. Parallel structure means you want things structured the same way when you're listing phrases. So is, serves, contains, present, present, present tense. Also, because it is more concentrated. Yeah, also because you kind of give another reason. For instance, is like if you, in the beginning, if you want to say, for example, here's why it's a good reason. So I would then, for instance, for nutritious maybe, but I wouldn't do it there. And therefore, as a cause and effect, which we're not having, it's not like the prior statement is leading to the statement where you see number 9. And in other words, makes no sense. So I would just keep it as is, no change. And then because it's more concentrated, Greek yogurt contains slightly more protein per serving, thereby helping people stay satiated for longer periods of time. So if you think about protein kind of makes you full, feel full. But I won't say fulfilled. Fulfilled more like if you like are you're satisfying some sort of desire you had. So I wouldn't say fulfilled, like fulfill your wishes. I wouldn't say that. Complacent means satisfied again, but more like you're kind of like satisfied the way things like maybe you're complacent with your job, complacent with your living situation. And sufficient doesn't make any sense either. Satiated does mean to be satisfied by food, to be filled up. So a little tricky, a little bit of vocab there. And then let's finish it off. These health benefits have prompted Greek yogurt's recent surge in popularity. In fact, Greek yogurt can be found in an increasing number of products such as snack food and frozen desserts. Because consumers read the nutritional benefits of Greek yogurt and support those who make and sell it. Therefore, farmers' businesses should continue finding safe and effective methods of producing the food. Again, I don't know if I should say therefore, but you're saying because blah, 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 farmers' businesses should. Yeah, I would go B. C is kind of awkward. I wouldn't really say D. Colon's usually used to like list things after you make a statement or to elaborate on the previous statement, but yeah, the word because. So I don't think you really need the colon, and the comma's fine. Because blah, 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 and then farmers and business should continue. So I'll go B. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a quick document just having passage 2 displayed. So see, this goes up page 24, 25, 26, 27. So pages 24 to 27. Let me create a quick document here. Let me stop sharing. Let me pause the recording.